Have you ever looked at someone, perhaps a friend, maybe even a family member, and silently wondered, why do I feel more drained around them than I do alone? What if I told you that walking away from someone you love might be the most loving thing you can do, for both of you? Welcome, fellow traveler of the inner path. You've just arrived at Stoic Journey, where ancient wisdom meets the emotional chaos of the modern world. I'm honored you're here. Now, the title of this video might raise eyebrows. Cut ties, even with family or friends. Some may call it heartless. But as a lifelong student of Stoicism, I'd say it's not cruelty, it's clarity. Because when a relationship becomes a battlefield for guilt, manipulation, or self-erasure, it's not a bond, it's a prison. And the Stoics taught us something radical. You owe peace to your soul more than loyalty to dysfunction. Before we dive into the 9 unmistakable signs that it's time to walk away, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to Stoic Journey to continue exploring the art of inner strength. Now, let's begin. But be warned, this may change the way you see certain people forever. Recognizing toxic patterns. Marcus Aurelius once proclaimed, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In these stark words lies a brutal truth. Toxic relationships are not merely unpleasant, they are corrosive forces that gnaw away at your inner strength and leave you raw, stripped of identity. Today, I confront you with this reality, one that society often masks in the guise of loyalty and obligation. We live in a time when social facades conceal betrayal, and those who should inspire trust instead undermine our worth. In our modern world, toxic patterns have become an undercurrent in everyday interactions. Think of a friend or even a family member whose caustic influence drains your energy, leaving you questioning your very existence. Consider the colleague who constantly sneers at your contributions, the partner who manipulates guilt, or the relative who dismisses your emotions as trivial. These relationships echo the dark underbelly of our society, a society where superficial connections are celebrated, while the deep wounds of betrayal remain hidden. The truth is brutal. If you allow these toxic influences to persist, you might as well be abandoning your own path toward a more enlightened, resilient self. This is not a gentle call to sever every tie at the first sign of conflict. Rather, it is an uncompromising demand to see the truth for what it is. When those around you repeatedly demonstrate behaviors that devalue your spirit, you must have the courage to recognize that persistent toxicity is a death knell for your inner peace. In our culture, where mediocrity is normalized and self-sacrifice is erroneously equated with strength, such revelations are bound to be met with shock and outrage. Ask yourself, how many times have you sacrificed your well-being for the sake of keeping up appearances? How many long nights did you spend apologizing for feeling hurt, when in truth it was the toxic influence of another that left you broken? Reflect on the bitter irony that in our pursuit of acceptance, we often cling to relationships that drag us down rather than lift us up. Let us not forget the Stoic call for detachment from the ill influences of our environment. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, you must cultivate the ability to differentiate between what is in your control and what is not. When you recognize a toxic pattern, the first step towards reclaiming your power is to distance yourself from that negativity. Toxicity is not something to be tolerated merely as an unfortunate side effect of human interaction. It is a pernicious force that must be confronted head-on. To make this confrontation concrete, I challenge you with an exercise. Over the next few days, take note of the moments when interactions with certain people leave you feeling depleted or bitter. Write down the specific behaviors you observed, be it manipulative, guilt-tripping, overt negativity, or the relentless need to belittle others. At the end of your notes, ask yourself, what is the cost of allowing this behavior to continue unchecked? This practice will serve as a mirror, reflecting back to you the harsh reality that some relationships are more akin to a slow poisoning than a source of support. So I ask you now, dare you confront the dark truth lurking in the shadows of your personal relationships? Are you willing to accept that your self-respect is not worth sacrificing on the altar of misplaced loyalty? Let this be the moment when you awaken to the understanding that protecting your inner sanctum is not an act of cruelty. It is the foundation upon which genuine strength is built. Cultivating emotional detachment. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This profound reflection cuts through the noise of everyday dramatics and reveals a cold, unyielding fact. It is your judgment, your reaction, that defines your existence. In a society that worships immediate emotional gratification and punishes restraint, the art of emotional detachment is a weapon, one that you must wield with precision. In our relentless quest for validation, many fall prey to the drama of interpersonal conflicts. We live in a hyper-connected era where every slight, every murmur of discontent is amplified by social media and the incessant buzz of daily communications. Yet the true mastery of a Stoic is to remain unmoved by the torrents of trivialities that wash over our lives. To cultivate emotional detachment is not to become numb. It is to gain sovereignty over your emotional world, to decide consciously which inputs are worthy of your time and energy. Consider the modern example of online interactions. A tweet laced with venom or a social media post designed to evoke outrage can send you spiraling into anger if you allow it. But imagine if instead you acknowledged these provocations with a detached clarity, much like a seasoned warrior facing an enemy's taunts. Picture yourself observing the chaos as an impartial witness, understanding that the opinions of others, no matter how scathing, do not define your internal state. This is the raw, uncompromising call to cultivate detachment, recognizing that your serenity is non-negotiable and its preservation demands a radical reordering of priorities. In applying this philosophy, let your mind act as a fortress impervious to the wind of external judgments. Instead of reacting impulsively, train yourself to observe, to note the feelings that arise, and then let them dissolve without further engagement. The brilliance of Stoic detachment lies in its simplicity. It teaches us that while we cannot control the array of insults, disappointments, or provocations thrown our way, we can control the storm that follows within us. I urge you to ask yourself, when was the last time you paused to truly observe your reaction to a negative encounter? Have you allowed your emotions to dictate your behavior, or have you taken the time to step back and reflect? Consider the times when a difficult conversation might have derailed you completely and ask, what might have been if you had met the situation with calm detachment rather than raw reactivity? For a practical exercise, I offer you this technique. The moment you sense your emotions surging in response to provocation, take a deliberate pause. Inhale deeply 3 times and mentally label each feeling that arises: anger, hurt, resentment. Then, without judgment, let each label float away like leaves carried by a gentle stream. Write down your experience afterward in a journal to track your progress. This practice of pausing and observing will gradually empower you to face life's inevitable adversities with a clear, balanced mind. This is a call to transform the way you interact with the world around you. No longer must you be a slave to the whims of transient emotions. The relentless assault of everyday negativity does not deserve to command your inner peace. Instead, choose detachment, knowing that by mastering your reactions, you reclaim your power and assert your sovereignty over your life. What if you could look at every insult, every slight, every minor injustice as simply a ripple on the surface of your vast, untroubled mind? Consider for a moment the freedom inherent in such mastery. Are you willing to take the steps to achieve this indomitable control? To become the calm in the chaos of modern life? The opportunity to redefine your emotional landscape awaits you here and now if you dare to seize it. Embracing healthy boundaries. Seneca once declared, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." These words, while deceptively simple, carry with them an uncompromising directive. Surround yourself only with those who inspire growth, who add value to your life, and who respect the sanctity of your inner being. In today's world, where the barbs of criticism and self-interest are plentiful, establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries is not merely an act of self-preservation. It is a radical, almost revolutionary stance against the tyranny of toxic social norms. Consider the environment of your daily interactions. Whether it is within the confines of your family, among your friends, or at the workplace, you are bombarded with voices that constantly encroach upon your time, energy, and sanity. There is an undeniable, often unspoken expectation that you must be available to everyone, meet every demand, and endure every slight. This is the dark truth of modern society, a society that thrives on the exploitation of your emotional labor. Healthy boundaries are the antidote to this exploitation. They are not the product of arrogance or selfishness, but rather they are born from the recognition that your life is sacred and that every minute and emotion must be guarded against evaluation. To set a boundary is to declare with unwavering certainty that your peace is paramount, that your energy must be directed only toward endeavors that genuinely fortify your spirit. It means saying no to the endless parade of trivial concerns and demands that threaten to erode your core self. Visualize a scenario where you are inundated with requests, emails demanding immediate responses, friends expecting instant attention, or family members imposing their own agendas on your time. Instead of capitulating to this barrage, imagine drawing a clear line that delineates your personal domain from the incessant demands of the outside world. This is the essence of healthy boundaries, a deliberate and calculated withdrawal from the mindset that you owe everyone a part of yourself. It's a bold move, one that may appear cold or even ruthless to those accustomed to emotional dependency, but it is precisely this fierceness of self-regard that distinguishes the truly resilient. Reflect on this. Have you ever felt utterly drained because you refuse to assert your needs? Have you sacrificed your well-being simply to keep the peace? It is time to confront these bitter truths. Examine your relationships with an unflinching eye. Identify the areas where your boundaries have been repeatedly trampled upon, and ask yourself what the real cost of such negligence has been. For a concrete exercise, take a moment to reflect on your daily interactions. Write down one or two specific instances where you felt that your personal space or emotional energy was invaded. Then articulate a clear, respectful boundary that you could have set in that moment. For instance, if a friend habitually calls at inconvenient times, practice saying, "I value our conversations, but I need to disconnect during my work hours. Let's catch up later." Commit to practicing this boundary until it becomes second nature. Record your reflections in a journal and observe the changes in your energy and overall well-being. It is a hard truth that in a society obsessed with constant connectivity, the pursuit of genuine boundaries is both revolutionary and necessary. The luxury of undivided attention and the right to protect oneself from emotional exhaustion are often sacrificed at the altar of social expectation. But understand this, your soul has no price tag, and compromising your inner sanctum for the sake of pleasing others is the ultimate betrayal of self. I challenge you. What boundaries have you neglected that are costing you more than you can bear? Have you allowed others to dictate the terms of your existence, or have you considered the sheer power of reclaiming your personal space? As you ponder these questions, know that the journey toward healthy boundaries is not always comfortable. It is fraught with resistance, both from within and from those who fear change. Yet it is the very act of enforcing these boundaries that liberates you from the shackles of societal expectations, enabling you to rise as a beacon of true strength, putting it all together for transformation. It is time to converge these uncompromising insights into a single transformative call to action. Reflect upon the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. They remind us relentlessly that life's true challenge is not the external chaos, but the internal judgment we cast upon every event. You are not disturbed by what happens to you, but by your judgment of those events, they whisper. A clarion call to see the world not through the lens of reaction, but with deliberate, calculated determination. In this harsh reality where toxic patterns, emotional enmeshment, and breached boundaries all conspire to keep you imprisoned, transformation is not optional, it is imperative. The modern world is rife with deception and exploitation. Every day you are presented with challenges that, if left unchecked, can erode your sense of self and derail your journey toward enlightenment. Yet within each challenge lies the seed of transformation, a promise that through resilience, clarity, and uncompromising self-respect, you can reclaim what is rightfully yours, your inner peace and the right to a life of genuine significance. Imagine a world where every negative encounter, every moment of betrayal, every unexpected hardship becomes an opportunity to practice the Stoic virtues of detachment, self-discipline, and wisdom. Consider the story of the individual who, despite the unending onslaught of criticism at work, harnessed the Stoic call to detach emotionally and thereby transformed his career trajectory. Or the tale of a family member who, after enduring years of emotional manipulation, finally set the boundaries necessary to foster a healthier dynamic, radically altering the course of their lives. These narratives are not fables. They are the stark, unforgiving realities faced by those brave enough to stand against the tide of mediocrity and self-abnegation. Now is the moment to ask yourself the hard question. What if the next time you find yourself drawn into a toxic interaction, you choose to respond not with blind submission, but with the cold, hard clarity of a Stoic warrior? How would your life change if every insult became a lesson, every betrayal a stepping stone, and every act of self-sacrifice a chance to reclaim your dignity? The way forward is not in clinging to the past or accepting the status quo. It lies in the relentless pursuit of your inner truth and the courage to cut ties with anything that stands in the way of your transformation. I invite you to take a definitive step this week. Choose one relationship or interaction that you have long tolerated, but has consistently sapped your spirit. Apply everything we have discussed today. Recognize the toxic pattern, disengage emotionally, and set an unyielding boundary. Document your experience in detail. What emotions arose, how did your adversary react, and what new clarity did you gain? This isn't merely an academic exercise. It is a radical act of self-liberation. Share your revelations in the comments below and join a community that values brutal honesty and transformative growth. As you sit with these questions, let the harsh truth seep in. The darker side of society is relentless and unforgiving, yet it presents us with the raw materials to build a stronger, more authentic self. Embrace the discomfort, for within it lies the power to reinvent your destiny. The world may be rife with hypocrisy and insincerity, but by honing your inner strength through Stoic practice, you assert your autonomy against the tide of conformity. Ask yourself now, have you ever felt that burning need to reclaim your peace in the midst of chaos? Are you ready to stand firm against those who would drain your life force? The journey is brutal and the path is treacherous, but the reward is your unassailable inner freedom. A freedom forged in the crucible of hardship and tempered by the wisdom of the ancients. Let us then resolve to forge ahead, to turn every challenge into a testament to our inner might. The transformation we seek does not come from passivity or complacency, but from the unyielding determination to live as a sovereign being in an uncaring world. As we wrap up this session, reflect on the grim reality. Society thrives on your submission, on your willingness to be weighed down by toxic patterns and broken boundaries. But you are not destined for such mediocrity. You are called to rise, to carve your path with a clarity that defies the darkness around you. So here is your final exercise. Over the coming week, identify and implement at least one new boundary or practice that fortifies your emotional autonomy. Whether it is the simple act of disengaging from a negative conversation or the deliberate decision to end an unrewarding relationship, do it with resolute intention. Write a short reflection on the change you notice, and share your thoughts with our community. Let your story be a beacon for others who are caught in the web of toxicity, and let it serve as a declaration that you will no longer allow the darkness to dictate your destiny. In the final reckoning, the Stoic path is not for the faint of heart. It demands that you confront the brutal, often ugly truths of human interaction and social decay. Yet, in doing so, you unlock the secret to a life lived with unwavering clarity and profound inner peace. Today, you have the choice. Either remain ensnared by the toxic patterns that plague our society, or rise above them with the stark, relentless wisdom of the Stoics. The decision is yours. Let this be your rallying cry, a call to arms against the mediocrity that seeks to chain you. Embrace the cold, hard truth. Practice detachment, set uncompromising boundaries, and allow your inner fire to blaze in defiance of a world that would see you subdued. Through this transformation, you not only reclaim your destiny, but also inspire others to see that the greatest form of strength lies in knowing your worth and defending it, no matter how harsh the world may be. Remember, every step you take toward emotional liberation is an act of rebellion against the darkness. Stand strong, reflect deeply, and let your inner light shine with a fervor that repels the toxic and the deceitful. For in the crucible of hardship, tempered by the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, you will discover that true transformation is not a fleeting dream, but an enduring reality, forged in the cold fire of truth and borne aloft by an unyielding spirit. This script demands that you confront the darkest aspects of human relationships with a clarity that is as stark as it is empowering. It challenges you not only to recognize and reject toxic patterns, but also to reclaim your inner sanctity with radical detachment and unassailable boundaries. Let each segment be a step, a deliberate act of courage in a society that so often rewards complacency. The journey is grueling, the truths are harsh, but the reward, a life of unbreakable inner peace and boundless strength, is beyond measure. Step forward with the resolve to transform not just your relationships, but your very soul. Engage deeply with these exercises, share your hard-won insights, and join a community that values the brutal honesty required to rise above the status quo. The time has come to let the Stoic wisdom guide you in dismantling the toxic constructs of society so that you may stand tall, free, and truly unshackled. Embrace the call to transformation, and let the relentless pursuit of inner freedom be the legacy you forge in an indifferent world. Your journey toward genuine strength begins here, and it begins now. As we draw this session to a close, I invite you to take a deep breath and consider the transformative journey you're about to embark upon. The road we've walked together today, examining the harsh truths of toxic patterns, cultivating emotional detachment, and embracing healthy boundaries, is not an academic exercise. It's a challenge to reclaim your inner freedom and redefine your life. Now is the time to act. I challenge you to join me in a 5-day transformation challenge. Over the next 5 days, I encourage you to use the practical exercises we discussed as your daily checklist for reclaiming your power. Each day, reflect on one of the key insights. 1. Day 1. Observe and record one toxic interaction. Identify the behavior that left you feeling drained. 2. Day 2. Practice pausing before reacting. Use deep breathing to let your emotions settle and write down your experience. 3. Day 3. Define one clear boundary you wish to set. Commit to protecting your energy without guilt. 4. Day 4. Engage in a brief mindfulness practice when faced with negativity. Notice the shift in your response as you detach from transient emotions. 5. Day 5. Reflect on the week as a whole. Jot down any changes in your mindset or interactions. Ask yourself, have I reclaimed a piece of my inner peace? I genuinely invite you to share your progress, struggles, and breakthroughs in the comments below. Your experiences can serve as a beacon of hope and strength to others navigating similar challenges in this often harsh and unforgiving society. Let's open a dialogue. Your story could be the spark that inspires someone else to rise above the toxicity that surrounds them. If today's content resonated with you, please take a moment to like this video and share it with a friend or family member who might need to hear this message. Every click, every comment, and every share adds strength to our community. A community built on the relentless pursuit of truth, resilience, and inner freedom. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Stoic Journey, and turn on notifications so you never miss an opportunity to learn, grow, and transform your life using timeless wisdom for today's challenges. Let this be more than just another video in your feed. Consider it your call to action. A courageous step toward carving out the space you deserve in a world that demands too much of your soul. Join the challenge, check off each daily task, and let the journey transform not only your relationships, but your very being. I look forward to reading your honest reflections and insights in the comments section. Share your victories, your setbacks, and any questions you might have. This is a space for genuine conversation, mutual support, and raw, unfiltered growth. Thank you for dedicating your time and energy to this exploration. Embrace the discomfort, celebrate your progress, and let the power of Stoic wisdom guide you as you build a life defined not by the negativity that surrounds us, but by the unshakable inner strength that lies within. Rise up, stay true, and let your journey to inner peace inspire others. The challenge begins now. Are you ready to take the first step?